How's it going? What's happening? It's time for a show. Time for coffee. Can you imagine what this show would be without coffee? Or some sort of beverage, some sort of morning beverage, likely with caffeine? It'd be 3, 2, and 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. That's good. Well, the saga of Jeremy trying to figure out video editing continues. So I think I mentioned I was learning a new piece of software. I've given up on that software because the training materials out there are everything I have found doesn't line up with the version that I have and really assumes a level of knowledge that I don't have. It seems like very few people are stepping into these pieces of software from, really low level, which I am. I'm coming from Windows Movie Maker and, really basic editing. And it's too big of a jump for me right now. So I took a look at a number of other programs that people recommended when I asked on Facebook, and most of them are the same. They're assuming a level of knowledge that I'm just not quite at yet. So I spent a good portion last evening, probably an hour and a half, trying out others. And most of them fall into one of two categories. They're terrible and were written, 10 years ago and barely have been updated. I found one that seemed promising, but it was super slow on my computer. And the only one that seems to have any value costs way more than I feel it should. It's $250, and I really don't want to spend $250 on software I'm going to barely use. So I'm still hunting for the right piece of editing software, and I'll figure it out. I'll find something. Because I got to do it once in a while. And yeah, there are one or two more things I can try that I will try and see how it goes. What else happened yesterday? Coached a CrossFit class. That went well. Didn't really go outside because it was cold and snowing for most of the day. The birch sap that I'm boiling down is almost at the end. I lost some Tuesday. I had some cooking on the stove and it completely evaporated and I missed it. So I lost, who knows, Honestly, what I lost probably started as, a few gallons. But it's all right. I'm doing this to learn something and I'm learning. The crock pot is safer. It's easier to, it's less, the consequences are not as abrupt if I forget. So working on that, I'm gonna see if there's more sap to throw in. Anything else yesterday? Just did work. Oh, I finished the initial draft of the calendar for the speed program. So I'm pumped about that. Gonna work on that a little bit more this morning. It's gonna be just like the strength and conditioning program. Just work on it a little bit every day until it's done and then send it off to people for review. I think my next step is to take all the notes and to at least lay out the guide that's gonna go with it. And I'm pumped for this. I'm pumped for this program. So, yeah. How about today? What's going on today? Work. Got a webinar on accounting stuff because I do that now. I work at an accountant's office. Spend more time finding a right video program. There's so many of them. It's really frustrating. I wish there was something like iMovie for the Mac, honestly. People have turned out some great stuff with iMovie. And I don't have a Mac. I'm not getting a Mac, so I can use iMovie. Maybe I can search that. iMovie alternatives for Windows. It's not supposed to be warm or anything today, so I don't know that I'm really getting outside. I'm at least going to work out. Maybe I'll get on the bike and ride somewhere or walk. I probably need to walk. I haven't walked much this week or at all. I think I walked Monday. I gotta move. I have to get cat food. I'll do that this morning too. Go to the store, buy cat food. All right, let's see what we got for questions, for comments. If you want to ask me something, drop it below and I'll respond tomorrow. Come on, tablet. This tablet is from like 2013, and it continues to work. It continues to do what I need it to do. This is why I buy Android devices from Google. My cell phone that we're recording this on is over 2 years old. It's like 2.5 years old now. It still does a great job with everything it needs to do, and yeah, worth my money. Oh, this thing's being silly. All right, so we got a few comments in here, and for some reason, Frank, YouTube really likes to hide yours. I can see them, and then when I click on it, it's not there, and it drives me nuts. I have Gabe's. It's just silly. I don't get it. All right, but I know they're there, so we're gonna bring it up because we face this enough times that Frank, who kills it, and I really appreciate him, sends them to me in Facebook Messenger, so I have a backup. And we've had to do this a few times. We've got 3 quotes from Chuck Norris. The 3 key components for success are as follows: psychological preparedness, physical conditioning, mental toughness. I would agree. Psychologically, emotionally, right? Like the ability to kind of endure. It's that perseverance. It's that, in Taekwondo, that indomitable spirit. It's the idea that you're going to kind of persist regardless of what's going on. You're going to find a way forward. The physical conditioning, the idea that, no matter what's going on, the more resilient your body is, the healthier it is, the stronger it is, the better you'll be able to respond to whatever is at hand. Whether that's training or testing or, working in the yard, whatever it is. And then, what was the third term? Mental toughness. When we have psychological and mental in the same, kind of in the same set, I think of psychological being more mental health, emotional stability, things like that. I think of mental toughness as the equivalent of physical strength, mental strength. How do I define that? Mental strength being the ability to think well, think quickly, process the information at hand, recognize opportunity, be focused, be intelligent, those sorts of things. And I agree. I think those 3 are critically important. If your body's ready, your mind is ready, your heart is ready, nothing's going to stop you unless you allow yourself to be stopped. And I think that's think that's a pretty good way to look at it. Next, men are like steel. When they lose their temper, they lose their worth. Of course, that doesn't have to be just men. I think he means the gender-neutral version of men as in mankind. When people lose their temper, they lose their worth. Anger doesn't serve anyone. It's far better to find ways to let go of anger, to release the emotion before it builds up. I think that's the way that's what I try to do. There are certain people, circumstances, places that I know make me upset. I try not to go there. If I have to go there, I try to prepare for that. If it's a person that I know irks me, I remember that it's about them, not me. There are a couple people that I'm thinking of right now that at every opportunity, they find ways to tear me down. They find ways to sort of the adult version of bullying, make themselves feel like they're better than. Somehow they've identified me as some standard that they have to overcome. That's about them, not me. As someone I look up to says, doesn't change the temperature in my pool. I don't have a pool, but I think you get the reference. You get the analogy. How they feel about themselves doesn't affect me at all. The last one. The best defense is not to offend. Ooh. The best defense is not to offend. I like that. If you are honest and slow with your words and empathetic to the people around you, it's hard to offend people. Oftentimes when people get offended, unfortunately these days, it's because they're looking for something to be offended about. I use the hide for 30 days button multiple times per day on Facebook. Oh, you're reposting inflammatory or false or hateful or whatever, just disrespectful things on Facebook. Gone. Oh, you've done that. I've had to hide you 3 or 4 times. Hide forever. I'm not gonna unfriend them, because a lot of these people I really value in real life. Some of them are just jerks online. We used to say that YouTube was the place that you could really go to find all the hate because it was anonymous. I think Facebook's gotten worse. And it's not anonymous, which is a shame. It says something about our society. And now we got a question from Gabe. That's a great question. What do you think your life and whistlekick would look like if you had a family? Well, let's define a family as, if I had a wife or, a long-term partner and we had a kid or 2 kids, a kid. Unrelated to this question, I've never wanted more than 2 kids. I think when the kids outnumber the parents, things get, I've watched that happen. It gets chaotic. More chaotic than just having kids. Any of you out there who have more than 2 kids can probably relate. I don't want them ganging up on me. What would have been different? I've thought about this. If I had had a family, I likely would have ended up closer to what I am doing now with trying to either consult or have a job or whatever, and whistlekick being a side project that I wouldn't have expected to make money from as quickly. And the irony of that is it probably would have been a better move. Now the downside, the consequence of having done it that way would have been that there are a lot of things we wouldn't be as far along in. Who knows if I would have ever put product on Amazon? Who knows if the podcast would have happened? There's a good chance that I wouldn't do First Cup. I think a lot of the content things that we do wouldn't have happened. I think our business would look a lot more like most other martial arts businesses that don't have. I'm not saying this to take a jab at anybody, but I think one of the things that we do differently is that we have a lot of personality in what we do, and me personally is quite a bit of that personality. And I'm not going to name names, but if you look at a lot of other martial arts companies, what's their personality? What do they stand for? Who are they? What are they putting out other than product? I think it would have been harder to find our identity if I had had a family. I still want a family. I do. I'd love to get married. I keep seeing examples of men having children into their 40s and even 50s, so I'm not too old. I turned 41 in 6 weeks. Wonder what we're gonna do. I don't know. I'm doing something. I think whistlekick would be a hobby. It would be a side business. The exception to that, of course, would be it would depend on how supportive and how financially supportive my wife would be. Would she, if she had some great job and was able to support both of us? I would assume that anyone I would marry would have a decent perspective on money. So some of the impulses that I've given into in the way that we handled things financially likely would not have happened. So that would have been good. I think it would have been better. Great question. As you can tell, wheels are turning. There's some dots that just connected that I hadn't thought of before. Are they too personal to share? Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I will tell you that it relates to a couple ex-girlfriends that I've had during whistlekick and their involvement and positive things. Obviously, the relationships didn't work out, but positive things in those relationships with regard to whistlekick that I consider part of the standard of what we're going to what I need to look for in someone. So. All right. Ugh. Do you hear that? That was my elbow. It's time to get writing, time to get working on that speed program. I hope you have the best of days. I'm going to go have a great day. I'm going to try to get outside. I'm going to try it. Look, it's sunny. Hopefully all that snow melts. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Now remember, I would love to have more questions, more comments from more people. So if you're watching this, leave me something to respond to. Even if it's a riddle, give me something. Let's see if we can fill Friday up with questions and comments. Stacy said that sounded like it hurt. It didn't hurt. It was crunchy, but it didn't hurt. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and today's Thursday. So what was today's episode? Today's episode should be the last live episode. I think that was scheduled for today. Yeah, Martial Arts Radio Live, the most recent one. The audio is up in the podcast feed today. So if you didn't have a chance to watch that, check it out. Subscribe, turn on notifications. We do this show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, here on YouTube. Catch you later in your podcast feed or at firstcupofjeremy.com. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/whistlekick or make a purchase at whistlekick.com with the code FIRSTCUP15. I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.